Hi guys, we're out here with Belle, and she's she's a little over 4 months at this point, and I want to go over some of the steps that I like to do to have them ready to tie, so the steps so that we know they're prepared to be able to tie, and what that looks like, and then work through tying her a little bit, okay? Now, one of the things that is very important to remember with horses is they need to be able to give to pressure, okay? And remembering that we use pressure to teach, but it's the release of pressure they actually learn from, right? So we're going to put a little bit of pressure here, right, on that rope, which when we do that, right, it pulls up on the top of this halter up on the pole, and you notice she stepped up to it. So we're going to do this again. A little bit of pressure, just wait, okay. If they're not giving to that pressure, they're not ready to tie. So I'm going to change the direction a little bit more on the bridge of her nose, right? Notice she's giving to that pressure, okay? The last thing I want to do is have this horse feel some pressure on her head, and then she panics, and then creates a really big problem, which is either pulling back really hard or shaking that head violently, which, you know, if we haven't taught that, that could really create some problems where that halter is really giving a brush burn right here on that pole. That's a pretty sensitive area. We want to protect that, right? So my daughter and I have done really a lot of work with this baby, just letting her, obviously she's not wild by any means, okay? But we're just going to review these lessons, see, is she going to give to that pressure? Another one that I love doing, even with babies, is I'll take this rope on the opposite side, bring it around that hock, right? Put a little bit of pressure there, and I need that baby there to follow to that pressure. I love doing this really with all horses, not just babies, but it's teaching them work through that pressure. Don't panic and fight that, just yield to the pressure, okay? So once I have those steps in place to where I know that they'll give to that pole pressure and they're gonna work through these problems and not panic, then I'm gonna bring them to the tie spot. Now you notice, you can clearly see this barn is used, right? There's been horses tied here, they've chewed on the beam. You notice there's the impressions that I have to fill in quite often because horses learn to tie here, okay? So I do have this as a I think it's a dock ring or boat anchor that I'll tie to. It's got really heavy duty, I think 3-inch screws in here. That's not gonna come loose. But if I was really concerned and I had a horse that tended to pull back, one, go back to the giving to the pole pressure before you tie them. But the other thing you can do is you run it up from the rafters or up high and straight down. Okay, that helps get a horse to not feel the need to pull back so much as if the angle would be here. Now the rope is up higher. The other thing that can do is it helps keep that rope from going, the lead rope, going over that pole, which I really want to avoid, okay? But as a rule, once they're prepared for this, generally speaking, I'm going to tie my rope at about arm's length, okay? So from where the rope attaches to the halter, about arm's length, okay? Now I like to do a quick release knot. So I'll just U this up or make like a quick little loop there, push it through, okay? See how that goes? Still about an arm's length of rope here. Now I'm going to take the tail and just bring it through, okay? Now the rope is still on the ground. I don't want the horse to step on it and or untie it, so I'll just do this again, okay? And again, then the last one, because this filly has been tied a couple times and she has started exploring how to untie this, okay? So the last loop, I'll just bring through, okay? Now for any reason, and of course when I'm teaching this, I will usually have a knife or something so that worst case I could just cut them loose. But because we've done the steps, we're not going to need that anyways. But if I ever needed to release this quickly, I'll just take and pull this here and the loop is free, right? So here's how it looks again. About an arm's length of rope, make our little pinch here, bring it through, take the tail of the lead rope. That's important, right? If we took the actual part that goes to tie and work through here, once the horse pulled, it would come loose. So needs to be the tail, come through again until you're out of rope. Last one through, goes through the end, okay? Now, this filly's not weaned yet. She's about 4.5 months old. Mama is tied over there, okay? So what I'm just gonna let her do is stand. Most horses don't tie well simply because the skill is not practiced nearly enough, okay? So we're just gonna let her stand here and learn to work through her problems, really. And again, we've put all the safety constraints in, and we've put all those things in place, so this filly doesn't want to pull back. She doesn't feel panicked. She doesn't feel scared, okay? So again, she can look and she can see other horses. She can see her mama over there, but she's just learning patience, right? And this is, again, why these impressions and things are here, because horses do tend to paw and that, right? And to me, that's fine. They learn to just stand and relax. Right? She sees stuff moving around. What do you think, baby? What do you think? And just learning patience. Now, if I had a horse that was really, really impatient here and just did not really know how to manage their emotions, which is really what this comes back to, you certainly could untie the horse, bring him out in another spot, lunge him around, change some directions, really get those feet moving, then tie him back up again, okay? And repeat that. So what that can do is it'll teach them, hey, this is a good place. This is where you can actually find a break and find a release, okay? And we'll just, usually this is something I'll do as basically I'm multitasking. So in other words, I might be working with another horse, might be brushing other horses, might be doing other things while I'm watching, keeping an eye on this horse so that, you know, in case anything really silly happened, we could be there and we could really work through that with her, okay? That's a great way to multitask and do lots of things all at the same time. But she's handling this well, and we'll do this in increments, working on her attention span, okay? So in other words, it might start for a couple minutes on day one, couple more minutes the next day, and building that up, okay? I would never leave this horse at this stages tied unattended. I wouldn't do that. They would really have to earn my trust in that before I would let that happen. But this is how we start putting all those things in place. What do you think there, baby? You're doing awesome. And you can almost tell, if you could read a horse's thoughts, you could just tell through her body language there's a lot going on. She's thinking, right? Noticing things are around her, observing, but she's learning to manage her emotions and her thoughts and her worries. So that's how I like to teach him to tie and working through that. We'll just keep building off of this, teaching her the next steps. What do you think there, Grilly? Did a good job. We really think a lot of this filly, so we're really happy with where she's at, and we'll just keep building, moving forward. So thanks for coming along today, guys, with the tying lesson with Belle. Till next time, see you down the trail.